Imagine holding in your hand a simple coin that tells a story of a nation's struggle, growth, and identity. The 5 peso coin of 1997 is not just a piece of metal, it is a reflection of Philippine history, culture, and economy, a coin that became familiar to millions of Filipinos and yet carries a depth of meaning that most never stop to consider. The 1997 5 peso coin was born during a period of transition in the Philippines when the central bank known as Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas was modernizing its currency system and responding to the needs of a rapidly changing society. The design of this coin is one of its most striking features. It replaced earlier issues and was part of the improved Flora and Fauna series before eventually evolving into the BSP coin series of the late 90s. On the obverse side, you find the profile of Andrés Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution, a national hero who symbolizes resistance against colonial powers and the aspiration for freedom. His image on the coin was more than artistic. It was political, a reminder to every citizen using it of the courage that led to the birth of the nation. Surrounding Bonifacio's image were inscriptions Republika ng Pilipinas and the year of minting, 1997, which would forever mark this coin as part of a particular era of the country's economic and political journey. The reverse side carried the official seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which had been restructured in 1993 following economic reforms. The seal itself reflected stability, authority, and modernization, with its stylized sun and stars echoing the symbols on the national flag. The denomination 5 peso was boldly displayed along with the words Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and this official presentation of national authority on currency demonstrated both pride and responsibility in maintaining the integrity of the monetary system. But beyond design, there is the story of why the 5 peso coin was introduced in the first place. During the 1990s, the Philippine economy was navigating challenges from inflation to the need for more efficient cash transactions. The central bank sought to streamline denominations and make everyday transactions smoother. The 5 peso note, which had been common in circulation, was gradually being replaced by a coin because coins last much longer in circulation than paper money. While paper notes may wear out within a year or two, coins can endure for decades. The move to issue the 5 peso coin in 1997, therefore, was both practical and symbolic. It demonstrated economic pragmatism, but also set the stage for future changes in the Philippine currency. System collectors of coins look at 1997 5 peso pieces with great interest. Some pieces were produced in large numbers and circulated widely, but variations exist that make them significant. Certain coins have slight differences in strike-quality metal composition and even minting errors that can dramatically affect their value in the numismatic market. There are enthusiasts who specialize in studying such details, analyzing mint marks, edge designs, and surface wear to trace the story of how each coin traveled across hands, markets, and generations. To understand the importance of the 1997 5 peso coin, one must also explore the figure of Andrés Bonifacio. His presence on the coin ensured that the revolutionary legacy lived in everyday exchange. Whenever Filipinos bought goods or paid fares, they touched a reminder of Bonifacio's bravery, his leadership in founding the Katipunan, and his dream of independence. This was more than currency. It was an educational piece, a portable reminder of national history carried unconsciously in pockets and wallets across the nation. The coin was minted using nickel brass, a composition that gave it durability and a distinct yellowish color, which made it easily distinguishable from other denominations. It had a diameter of 27 millimeters, a thickness that made it solid to the touch and a weight that conveyed value. In a very physical sense, the edge was plain, unlike some denominations with reeded edges, and this simplicity gave it a sleek and recognizable appearance. When you think of design elements, these were not random. They were carefully chosen to balance practicality with symbolism. The late 90s were also a time of broader monetary transitions across the world. With many nations rethinking their coinage, the Philippines was no exception as it modernized its money supply to meet growing demands. The 1997 5-peso coin became the face of mid-range transactions, bus fares, jeepney rides, small store purchases, and countless daily exchanges. Each coin was part of millions of stories passing from hand to hand and contributing to the rhythm of life in Filipino communities. In the years that followed, new versions of the 5-peso coin would emerge, featuring different designs such as General Emilio Aguinaldo, or later the New Generation currency series. But the 1997 Bonifacio version remains distinct because it marked the beginning of this transition period. It was the bridge between the older flora and fauna designs and the more streamlined BSP series that continues to evolve. Today, for collectors and historians, this coin is a marker of change. It embodies not only national pride, but also the realities of economics, design trends, and the shifting values of currency policy. As we explore this coin in detail, it is essential to understand its rarity in some forms. While millions were minted for general use, there are always particular issues that gain special attention. A double strike, a misaligned die, an off-center strike, or coins preserved in mint state condition, untouched by circulation, can reach significantly higher values in auctions around the world. Collectors meticulously examine 1997 5-peso coins for such errors because they transform an ordinary coin into a rare artifact commanding far more than its face value. The cultural dimension of this coin is also worth noting because in Philippine society, coins are not merely tools of commerce. They often serve in rituals, traditions, and symbolic practices. Coins are used in weddings, tossed for good luck, embedded in cornerstones of buildings, and given as tokens of remembrance. The 5-peso coin with Bonifacio, therefore, was not just a transaction piece, but sometimes part of family ceremonies or cultural customs linking the past with the present. When teaching Philippine history, some educators even use the coin as a prop to introduce younger generations to Andres Bonifacio's legacy. This practical link between money and memory underscores the power of currency to preserve history in a form that is both common and extraordinary, and this is why the 1997 5-peso coin remains more than just metal. It is a living connection to values, ideals, and identity. From a global perspective, the 1997 5-peso coin also reflects how nations express sovereignty through currency. Each design choice, material decision, and inscription tells outsiders as much as it tells citizens about what a nation values. While some countries highlight presidents or monarchs, the Philippines chose revolutionaries and patriots like Bonifacio, thereby signaling to the world that its identity is rooted in struggle, resilience, and freedom. This long journey of the 5-peso coin of 1997 demonstrates how even the simplest everyday object can be the carrier of profound historical significance, economic decisions, and cultural meaning, and for collectors, historians, and ordinary citizens alike, it continues to represent an era, a hero, and a story that is still unfolding every time one of these coins changes hands. What if I told you that the coin sitting quietly in your pocket could unlock the story of an entire nation? Imagine a simple 5-peso coin dated 1997, a coin you might overlook when paying for a jeepney ride or buying a snack. Yet hidden within its metal surface lies a tale of revolution, pride, sacrifice, and resilience. This is not just money. This is Andres Bonifacio staring back at you, reminding you of a people's fight for freedom. This is the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, declaring economic progress and national authority. This is a coin that bridged old designs with modern currency, a coin that millions held and used without realizing they were holding history in their hands. The 1997 5-peso coin is more than currency. It is a time capsule of the Philippines in the 90s, a mirror of the struggles of the past and a messenger of the values that shape the present. And today we are going to peel back every layer of this coin. Its design, its history, its cultural meaning, its collector value, and its legacy. And by the time we are finished, you will never look at a simple 5 peso coin the same way. Again, do you want me to also write the closing hook? So your 2-hour script has a powerful ending that keeps viewers wanting more coin history videos? Imagine holding in your hand a simple 5 peso coin from the year 2003, a coin that many would overlook in daily life as just another piece of change. But when you stop and study it, you will discover that this coin is not just metal. It is a piece of living history, a reflection of national identity, economic shifts, and cultural pride. The 2003 5 peso coin from the Philippines belongs to the new design series, which was first introduced in 1983 by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to replace the earlier Filipino series and to create a modern design that better represented the country in a time of change. The obverse side of this coin features the bust of Emilio Aguinaldo, the first president of the Philippines and the leader of the Philippine Revolution against Spanish colonial rule. His portrait is carefully engraved with a dignified expression symbolizing the fight for independence and the strength of leadership. Below his image appears his name, General Emilio Aguinaldo, reminding every Filipino of the man who declared independence on June 12, 1898. The reverse side of the coin displays the seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which represents the authority of the central bank, as well as the stability of the national economy. The seal is detailed with symbols of stability, progress, and strength, a testament to the country's aspirations in the modern era. The 5 peso denomination is boldly inscribed, representing not only its monetary value, but also the balance between usability in daily transactions and recognition as a higher coin in the series. Now, the year 2003 is especially significant in this coin's history because it reflects a period when the Philippine economy was undergoing transitions. Globalization was reshaping industries, remittances from overseas. Filipino workers were playing a larger role in the economy, and coinage itself was adapting to new minting technologies. The coin was struck in nickel-plated steel, which was chosen for its durability and resistance to wear. This change from earlier copper-nickel compositions marked a shift toward cost-effectiveness in minting, while still providing a coin that could withstand daily circulation. The 2003 issue is also a marker of mintage practices at the time. Coins from this period were produced in large numbers to meet the needs of a growing population and to support everyday transactions in markets, jeepney fares, sari-sari stores, and countless small exchanges. The 5 peso coin was a vital piece of the monetary system, circulating heavily alongside the 1 and 2 peso coins as the everyday workhorses of commerce. Its presence in people's pockets and purses meant that it was constantly used to pay for necessities, reflecting the pulse of the economy. The design itself, however, carried symbolic weight. Emilio Aguinaldo was a controversial yet powerful figure in Philippine history, celebrated for his leadership in the revolution, but also debated for his role in later political events. Still, his image on the coin reminded Filipinos of their long struggle for freedom and the complexities of leadership and nation building. This makes the coin not just a medium of exchange, but a silent storyteller of history for collectors. The 2003 5 peso coin presents an interesting chapter in numismatic studies. While not exceedingly rare in circulated condition, its significance lies in its role as part of the new design series, which was eventually demonetized in 2018 to make way for the new generation currency coin series. Collectors value examples that are in mint state with sharp details and original luster, because these coins represent a piece of history preserved against the passage of time errors and varieties in minting also add intrigue for specialists. Coins with double strikes, off-center designs, or other minting anomalies from 2003 can fetch higher interest in auctions and among enthusiasts, but beyond its collector appeal, this coin stands as a cultural bridge. It links the revolutionary spirit of aguinaldo with the economic realities of the early 2000s, and it embodies the everyday resilience of Filipinos who used this coin daily, whether to buy rice, to pay for transport, or to save for future needs. The 5-peso coin of 2003 is not just an object, it is a witness to life in the Philippines during the early years of the new millennium. It carries the weight of independence, the influence of economic policy, and the touch of countless hands who lived through its circulation. Its story spans design, history, economics, culture, and national memory. And when you dive deep into all these layers, you will find that this small coin could easily fill hours of discussion, analysis, and storytelling, making it the perfect subject for a long documentary-style exploration into the fascinating world of coins' history and the meaning they carry in the lives of people and nations. When you hold the 5-peso coin from the year 2003, you are not just holding a piece of metal, you are holding a chapter of Philippine history molded into steel, coated with nickel, and released into the hands of millions. This coin belongs to the new design series that was introduced in the early 1980s as the Philippines sought to refresh its national coinage and symbolize a modern identity while still keeping strong ties to its history and heroes. The obverse of this coin is dominated by the profile of General Emilio Aguinaldo, a man whose name is permanently etched in the foundation of Philippine independence. Born in Cavite in 1869, Aguinaldo grew from a local leader to the first president of the Philippine Republic, and he became the voice of revolution in the late 19th century when the Spanish Empire still held the islands in its colonial grip. His declaration of independence on June 12, 1898, at Kawit, Cavite, was a moment that forever altered the destiny of the Filipino people. So when his face appeared on the 5-peso coin decades later, it was not just decoration, it was a powerful reminder of the sacrifices of those who fought for freedom. The inscription of his name on the coin along with the bold denomination marked in large numerals gave the 5-peso piece an aura of both authority and memory. Every Filipino who used this coin in the markets, in jeepneys, in bus terminals, or in their daily lives unknowingly carried a silent tribute to their own nation's struggles and triumphs. Now, when we move to the reverse of the coin, we see the official seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the central bank that regulates the currency. The seal contains imagery that symbolizes stability, responsibility, and national progress. It was meant to remind the people that behind every transaction, behind every coin, there was an institution that guaranteed order in the financial system. The year 2003 specifically marked a period of transition for the Philippines. Globalization was reshaping the way industries functioned. Overseas remittances were sustaining families, and the value of coins like this was deeply felt in everyday life. The 5-peso coin was crafted in nickel-plated steel, a material chosen for its resistance to corrosion and durability. This decision was not merely practical, it also reflected the financial considerations of minting in an era when the costs of producing coinage had to be carefully controlled. The use of plated steel made the coin affordable to produce while strong enough to survive years of daily circulation. Think about the role of the 5-peso coin. In those years, it was an essential piece of daily commerce. It bought jeepney rides to schools and workplaces. It covered small store purchases of bread, rice, snacks, or soft drinks. It was dropped into coin-operated payphones. It was saved in school children's piggy banks, and it circulated endlessly through households and businesses in both rural towns and urban centers. This coin was not one that people stored away in vaults. It was one that kept moving, a coin that kept the rhythm of the economy alive, and yet within its common usage lay the richness of symbolism. For coin collectors and numismatists, the 2003 issue belongs to a series that spanned from 1983 to 2018, when it was officially demonetized to give way to the New Generation Currency series. This means that the 2003 5 Piso now stands as a relic of an era. Coins from this series are often studied for their design consistency, their metallurgical composition, and the mintage variations that occurred year after year. Collectors seek out high-grade specimens with full details, sharp strikes, and original brilliance, because circulation often wears away the design to a smooth surface. Aguinaldo's presence on the coin is itself a subject of fascination. His role in history has long been debated. Some celebrate him as a national hero, the liberator who defied colonial power. Others question his later political choices, including his leadership during the Philippine-American War and his eventual accommodation with later political regimes. But whether one views him as flawless or flawed, his inclusion on the 5 Piso piece means the nation chose to highlight his leadership as an enduring symbol of the revolution. This makes the coin a canvas not only of history, but also of national interpretation of the past. The production of the coin in 2003 involved the minting facilities of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which had by then developed more modern methods of mass-producing coins that could meet the demands of circulation quality control. During minting sought to ensure consistent weight diameter and metallic composition. But as in any minting process, errors sometimes occurred. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it could tell its own story? How many lives it has passed through? How many moments of history it has quietly witnessed today? We are unlocking the full story of one such coin. The Philippine 5 Piso coin of 2009. A small round piece of metal that holds inside it not only the story of currency, but the story of a nation, its struggles, its transformations, its heroes, and its culture. This is not just a coin, it is a chapter of history pressed into copper and nickel. The 5 Piso coin of 2009 belongs to the New Design series, a set of coins first issued by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas in 1995 with the goal of modernizing and standardizing the look of Philippine money. This coin is larger than the common one and 5 centimo pieces, and it was given importance because it carried the face of a national hero, Andres Bonifacio. Bonifacio is not just a historical figure, he is a symbol of bravery and resistance. He was the supremo of the Katipunan, a revolutionary group that fought against Spanish rule in the late 19th century, so when Filipinos carried this coin in their pockets, they were carrying not just money, but the face of a man who represented their fight for independence. The obverse or front side of the 2009 5 Piso coin displays a profile portrait of Andres Bonifacio wearing a kerchief around his neck, a style he was known for, and next to his portrait are the inscriptions of his name, along with the words Republika ng Pilipinas, and the year 2009. The reverse of the coin is equally symbolic. It shows the official seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which had been updated in 1993 after the central bank was reorganized. This seal represents the authority of the Philippine Central Bank over monetary policy and coin issuance, and reminds citizens that their money is protected and backed by the nation. In terms of design, the 2009 5 Piso coin had a round shape with a smooth edge. It was struck in nickel, plated steel giving it a silvery color and a durable finish. It measured 27 millimeters in diameter and weighed 7 grams, which made it heavier and more noticeable than smaller denominations. The feel of the coin in hand carried weight both physically and historically. What makes the 2009 issue notable is that it represents the later years of the New Design series before the Philippines transitioned into the New Generation Currency coin series in 2017. The 2009 coins were produced in large numbers and circulated widely across the country, and they were used in everyday transactions from jeepney fares To small market purchases, they were part of daily life for millions of Filipinos, and yet many people never stopped to look closely at the details etched on the surface. The story of the 5 peso coin also connects to the broader history of Philippine coinage. The first Philippine coins date back to pre-colonial times when native tribes used gold barter rings and beads as a medium of exchange during the Spanish period. Coins such as the Dos Mundos or Pillars of Hercules pieces made their way into circulation, and by the time of American occupation in the early 20th century, the U.S. established the Manila Mint to produce coins specifically for the Philippines. After independence in 1946, the Philippines began designing and issuing its own money to reflect its sovereignty and national identity. By the late 20th century, inflation made larger denominations like the 5 peso coin necessary. What once could be bought with centavos required pesos, and the 5 peso became one of the most practical and widely used coins of the era. The inclusion of Andres Bonifacio on this coin gave it an educational as well as monetary role, reminding each generation of the sacrifices made to achieve the freedoms they enjoy. The year 2009 itself is significant in Philippine history. It was a time when the global financial crisis had ripple effects across Asia. The Philippines was working to stabilize its economy and maintain confidence in its currency. The 5 peso coin served as part of this stability, a reliable piece of money in circulation and a constant companion for everyday Filipinos collectors. Today, look at the 2009 5 peso coin as an important issue, not because it is rare, but because it represents the end of an era. The new design series coins are gradually being withdrawn and replaced, so these coins have become nostalgic pieces. They remind collectors and historians of the transition between old and new systems of currency. Some coins from 2009 may even hold slight premiums if they are in uncirculated or mint condition, especially for those who aim to keep a complete set of Philippine coinage. The cultural weight of the coin is also worth exploring. Andres Bonifacio was long considered the father of the Philippine Revolution, and his presence on the coin connects modern Filipinos to their revolutionary roots, even in small day-to-day exchanges. When someone handed over a 5 peso coin in 2009, they were handing over a silent tribute to the man who once dreamed of a free Philippines. The study of this coin opens doors to conversations about economics, about how coins are designed, minted, and distributed, about how inflation and demand affect the production of currency, and about how governments use coins not only as tools of trade, but as symbols of unity, heritage, and national pride. The 2009 5 peso coin is a teaching tool. It is a collector's item. It is a pocket monument to history. To understand the true weight of the 2009 5 peso coin, we must first travel back in time to the story of Andres Bonifacio, the man whose image graces the obverse side of this coin. Bonifacio was born on November 30th, 1863 in Tondo, Manila, into a modest family. He lost both parents at a young age, which forced him to provide for his younger siblings by working in humble jobs. He sold canes and fans. He worked as a messenger and as a warehouse clerk. Yet despite these struggles, he developed a deep love for books and self-education. Bonifacio read about the French Revolution, about the lives of great thinkers, and about the meaning of freedom. These ideas planted seeds in his mind that later grew into the revolutionary spirit that defined his life. In 1892, when José Rizal founded the Reformist group La Liga Filipina, Bonifacio became one of its members, but after Rizal was arrested, Bonifacio realized that reform would not be enough. He saw that armed revolution was the only way to achieve independence from Spain, and so in July 1892, he founded the Katipunan, officially known as Kataas-taasan, Kagalang-galangang Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. This secret society quickly grew in membership, spreading from Manila to surrounding provinces. The members took oaths of loyalty signed with their own blood and dedicated themselves to the cause of freedom. The revolution began in 1896, when the Katipunan was discovered by the Spanish authorities. Bonifacio led the cry of Balintawak, where members tore their cedulas or residence certificates. As a sign of defiance, this act became a symbol of the start of the Philippine Revolution, although later conflicts within the movement led to Bonifacio being ousted from leadership and eventually executed by rival factions. In 1897, his role as Supremo of the Katipunan cemented him as one of the most important heroes of Philippine independence. When the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas decided to place his image on the 5-piso coin in the new design series, it was a deliberate choice to honor. His legacy coins are more than money. They are everyday monuments. By placing Bonifacio's portrait into the hands of millions, the Philippines ensured that his memory would never fade. Even for those who might not open a history book, his face was there daily in wallets and pockets, in small exchanges between vendors and passengers, reminding people that freedom came at a price. The 2009 issue of the coin was part of the long-running New Design series which started in 1995. This series replaced the earlier Flora and Fauna coins and emphasized portraits of national heroes and symbols of the Republic. The 5-piso coin was one of the most distinct. Because of its size, weight, and design at 27 millimeters, it stood out in a handful of coins. Its nickel-plated steel composition gave it a bright silvery sheen, and its smooth edge separated it from coins with reeded or serrated edges. When compared side by side with the 1-piso coin, the difference was clear and intentional, so that people could easily recognize denominations by touch and sight. Examining the details of the 2009 coin, we see the portrait of Andres Bonifacio facing forward slightly to the right with his trademark kerchief around his neck. Above his portrait are the words Republika ng Pilipinas, which is the formal name of the Republic of the Philippines. Below is his name, Andres Bonifacio. And to the right is the year 2009. The reverse design carries the official seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The logo depicts a stylized sun and stars symbols deeply tied to the Philippine flag, and the struggle for freedom, along with an image of a bank building, and the year 1993 marking the re-establishment of the central bank. Coins are physical artifacts, and every detail matters to numismatists who study them. The weight, the diameter, the metallic composition, and even the method of minting all tell part of the story. The 5-piso coin was struck in massive quantities to serve the needs of daily commerce, and it was minted at facilities under the authority of the central bank. Millions of these coins passed through. Machines were counted, bagged, distributed, and eventually landed in the hands of market vendors, jeepney drivers, students, office workers, and children buying snacks. The story of the 5-piso coin of 2012 is a journey through Philippine history, culture, and economic transformation, and it is a story that brings together heritage, national pride, and the evolution of a nation's money from the earliest coinage in the archipelago to the modern designs that Filipinos carry in their hands today. When we speak about the 5-piso coin of 2012, we are not just speaking about a small, round piece of metal. We are speaking about a chapter of the Philippines itself, a chapter that reflects the country's efforts to honor its heroes, to modernize its currency system, to streamline its monetary circulation, and to connect the present generation with the legacy of its past. This coin is more than just money. It is a mirror of the Philippines as it stood in the early 21st century, and as such it deserves a deep exploration that brings out every detail of its story. The 2012 5-piso coin belongs to the new generation currency series issued by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which sought to update and modernize the designs of Philippine coins and notes. The BSP had long recognized that earlier coin series, especially the BSP coin series introduced in 1995, had grown outdated in both design and security features. And so by the second decade of the 2000s, the BSP began rolling out a refreshed set of designs that would carry a sharper modern appearance and would also symbolize the nation's desire to create a unified, coherent, and secure currency system in this setting. The 5 peso coin became one of the most talked about denominations because of its unique place in Filipino daily life. The obverse of the 2012 5 peso coin carried the portrait of Emilio Aguinaldo, the first president of the Philippines, who is remembered for declaring independence from Spanish rule on June 12, 1898 in Kawit, Cavite. By placing Aguinaldo on the 5 peso coin, the BSP sought to highlight his contribution to the revolutionary struggle against colonial power and to honor his role as the symbolic leader of Philippine independence. Aguinaldo had appeared on banknotes before, but his placement on the coinage, especially on a denomination that circulated widely in markets, jeepneys, and stores, ensured that millions of Filipinos would carry his legacy with them every day. The portrait on the obverse was crafted with sharper detailing compared to previous coin series, capturing Aguinaldo's stern yet resolute expression. The legend Republica N. Pilipinas encircled the portrait, marking the national identity of the coin, and the date 2012 was engraved below, anchoring the coin in its year of minting. Every small element of this design was deliberate, tying the coin to national pride, while keeping its features simple enough to be quickly recognizable in everyday transactions. The reverse of the coin displayed the official seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The BSP logo featured a stylized sun with 3 stars echoing elements. Of the national flag surrounding this emblem was the text, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which represented the country's monetary authority and guardian of financial stability. The reverse design emphasized the central role of the BSP in issuing legal tender and maintaining trust in the currency system. The decision to feature the BSP seal, rather than an image of cultural heritage or a natural resource, as on other coins, signaled the importance of monetary governance during this period of economic reforms in the Philippines. The 5 peso coin of 2012 was minted primarily in nickel-plated steel, giving it a silvery appearance. Its size, weight, and metallic composition were carefully chosen to balance cost, durability, and practicality. In circulation, as the Philippines faced rising costs in minting coins, the shift to nickel-plated steel offered a more economical and corrosion-resistant option, ensuring that the coins could survive years of handling and exposure in tropical conditions without significant wear. The historical context of the 2012 5 peso coin cannot be separated from the broader arc of Philippine monetary evolution. The peso itself has its origins in the Spanish colonial period, when the silver Mexican peso became widely used in the islands. This coin became the foundation of the Philippine currency system, and over centuries, the peso was redefined by American administration, by Japanese occupation, and by the independence period when the Philippines created its own central bank and coinage systems. The 5 peso denomination specifically evolved as the country moved away from large banknotes for small transactions into coinage that was practical for daily use in markets, transportation, and small-scale commerce. By 2012, the 5 peso coin was one of the most used coins in circulation, serving as a common fare for jeepneys, tricycles, and buses, as well as a standard price point in sari-sari stores for small consumer goods for many Filipinos. The 5 peso coin was not just a denomination, but a symbol of everyday survival and the flow of daily commerce. It was a coin that passed hands countless times a day, moving from vendor to passenger, from child to elder, from rich to poor, binding together the economic lives of millions in a single metallic form. Beyond its immediate use, the coin also carried symbolic weight. Emilio Aguinaldo's portrait made sure that Filipinos were reminded of the nation's revolutionary heritage at a time when the country was experiencing globalization, modernization, and rapid social change. The face of a revolutionary leader on a small coin acted as a reminder that independence and sovereignty were hard-won victories not to be forgotten, even in the rush of modern life. The minting of the 2012 5 Piso coin also highlights the practical challenges faced by the BSP in maintaining the coinage system. Counterfeit prevention, circulation efficiency, and production cost were all factors in designing this coin. The nickel-plated steel composition was part of a broader international trend in coin production, where many nations shifted to plated steel alloys to lower costs while maintaining durability. The coin's size and weight were balanced to allow vending machines, banks, and counting machines to accept them easily, ensuring smooth integration into commerce. Collectors, too, took interest in the 2012 5 Piso coin because, as with many modern issues, it represented a transitional stage in Philippine. Numismatics collectors recognized that each change in design, denomination, or metallic composition reflected broader shifts in the national story. While the 2012 5 Piso coin was a common piece in circulation, it also held a place in collections as a marker of its era. When historians and numismatists look back at Philippine coins, the 2012 5 Piso coin stands out as part of the New Generation series, a reform driven by both economic necessity and national identity. The circulation life of the 2012 5 Piso coin would eventually give way to later designs as the BSP continued to refine and redesign its currency system in response to feedback from the public and the evolving needs of commerce. Still, for a time, the 2012 coin carried with it the memory of Emilio Aguinaldo, the authority of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and the pulse of the Philippine economy. When we hold the 2012 5 Piso coin, we hold a story of independence, modernization, and economic resilience. It is the story of Emilio Aguinaldo's leadership, of the BSP's stewardship, and of the Filipino people's everyday lives. It is a coin that passed through countless hands, yet each hand added to its story, making it not just money but history in motion. And as we look closely at its design, its composition, its symbolism, and its context, we discover that even the smallest coin can carry the weight of a nation's identity. The 2012 5 Piso coin is more than a monetary token. It is a vessel of history, a circulating museum piece, and a bridge between generations of Filipinos who see in its metallic shine a reflection of their past, their present, and their aspirations for the future. To truly understand its meaning, we need to step back and explore not just its physical details, but also the broader historical, economic, and cultural landscape that gave birth to it. The choice of Emilio Aguinaldo for the obverse was not accidental. Aguinaldo is one of the most debated and discussed figures in Philippine history. Some regard him as the father of independence, a man who declared the nation free from Spain after centuries of colonial domination. Others see him through a more complex lens, noting the controversies of his leadership and the divisions during the revolutionary period. Yet regardless of these debates, his role in declaring Philippine independence and serving as its first president made him a natural choice for a coin that was intended to carry a strong message of sovereignty, the 2012 5 Piso coin. Therefore acts not just as money, but as a daily reminder of the nation's struggle and triumph. When you look at Aguinaldo's stern portrait on the obverse, you can almost feel the weight of his responsibilities in 1898 when he raised the Philippine flag in Kawit, Cavite, and proclaimed independence to a crowd filled with hope and uncertainty. He was only 29 years old, a young leader thrust into the center of history. That same image carried over to the coin reminds every Filipino of the courage needed to stand up against colonial powers and chart a new destiny. The design was carefully chosen to reflect both authority and resolve, traits that were essential to Aguinaldo's persona. The inscription Republica Ng Pilipinas surrounding his portrait reinforces the national identity. It reminds the holder that this is not just a piece of metal, it is a symbol of the republic itself, a republic that had endured centuries of colonial control, American rule, a devastating World War, Japanese occupation, and eventually independence and democratic self-governance. Placing Aguinaldo's face next to the name of the republic was a deliberate decision by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.